Hopefully, I will not get punished for making this video. It is very easy to be mischaracterized, especially when you're talking about emotionally charged subjects. But there are a lot of people who are blaming women for the state of Western entertainment. And it is self obvious that in the last couple of years, there was very little creativity when it comes to movies and video games. Everything happens to be a sequel, everything happens to be a prequel or a spin off. There is very little originality, and the stuff that comes out is just bad. I mean, this year alone, I can just think of Redfall or Forspoken. Video games that no one is going to remember 1 year from now. And when you look at it, all these studios, they're championing diversity, and you look at Twitter, and they're showing like how many women they have as if it's like the spice melange, instead of like showing the quality of their game, instead of like showing features or gameplay elements, they're bragging about the percentages, and they're treating human beings as a number, and they're obsessed about the cock and pussy, right, rather than being obsessed about the quality of the people they're hiring, right? And because of that, many people are saying, well, this is what happens when you allow women to write video games. And here is what I disagree. I do not blame women, because when you look at Japan, a lot of manga creators, and a lot of very famous ones at that, happen to be women. I mean, it's so hilarious because you see people on Twitter losing their shit, and they're attacking various mangas or various Japanese games, and they're like, oh my god, how can you create a character like that? Oh, she doesn't look realistic. Oh, look at the size of the tits she's having. And then you find out that, well, actually, it's created by a woman. And this is due to the fact that the women understand the market. They're like, what do I want to create, right? And when you create a story, you don't create it for absolutely everyone. No, you decide, like, which demographic. And there's usually, like, 4 major demographics. Like, you can break it down even further, but it's very simple. You can either create it for teenage boys, teenage girls, adult men, or adult women. There is no, like, no, I'm going to create it for absolutely everyone. No, you need to focus on a demographic. And based on the demographic that you focus, there are certain themes and elements that, that demographic likes. So, for example, if you want to focus on teenage girls, they like a lot of romance, they like a lot of character development. They basically like to see people sitting down and talking a lot. If you want to create for teenage boys, it's simple. They like sex and violence, right? So just have Naruto with the sexy ushikushi lady next to him like Hinata, tits bouncing, and they're fighting against pain, and they're doing all sorts of interesting jutsu. That's what boys like, okay? Like, it's not rocket science. It's very simple. We know this. We know this. This has already been established. Like, don't reinvent the wheel. The wheel is there, right? So what is going wrong? Like, why is the West incapable of having good stuff? Well, I have spoken with many people who do work in AAA. I have spoken with many individuals that happen to work in Hollywood, or they have jobs at Amazon. And all of them tell me the same thing. And now I see it on 4chan as well. And because it goes exactly with what I've been hearing, yeah, this is probably true. So you have this individual which is saying that when it comes to The Witcher, the designs were made up by the writing team. We had a meeting where we discussed the details of this, and one of the lead female writers went on some rant about the patriarchy, and it involved into making the oppressive Nilfgaard into literal dickheads. They have shriveled scrotum for armor. Any attempts to push this off by those of us who are familiar with the subject matter were immediately overruled by the majority females on the team. So this is what you get. I wanted to quit on the spot because my soul was crushed working in the shithole, but I don't have anything lined up at this point. Right. So basically, it's not the fact that the writing team is women. The problem is ideology. Like, they are hired based on ideology that despises the male gaze. And in fact, I would go to say even further, they don't like men. Imagine this, okay? Imagine an alternate universe where you would hire incels that don't like women to write and create video games and entertainment for women. Like how do you think that would end up? Do you think like it would be a positive experience for the audience? Do you think like they would make it good? No, of course not. Like they would pour their vindictiveness, they would pour their malice, and all of their insecurities into the show that they are making. And this is what you're getting here, right? And when you look at The Witcher, you look at this armor that the Nilfgaardian is wearing, and he is right. It doesn't look cool. It doesn't look amazing. It doesn't look intimidating. It doesn't look anything. It looks boring. It looks bland. I mean, the Nilfgaardian Empire is supposed to be an intimidating force in the world. It's supposed to, like, they're supposed to look like the baddies, but instead, as this person is pointing out, they look like a joke. They look like a caricature. And this is bad lore design. And again, like a lot of people will say, well, it's women that do it. And I'm like, yeah, but like Japanese women don't. Again, manga, Bayonetta, should I go on? It is the ideology. Like in America, they have been trained in universities to think that men are evil. Like the 2016 moral panic, you had on Twitter hashtag yes all men trending. And it was the idea that any type of interaction between a man and a woman is rape, and we live in a rape culture. Like, do you guys remember those talking points? Those people lived and breathed it in universities and stuff. And now they got hired specifically based on the ideology. They're not going to hire Candace Owens. Like, Candace Owens, even though she's a black woman, is never going to be hired by Activision Blizzard. Even though she fits the check boxes and everything, it's like the ideology is the more important thing than the diversity, if that makes sense, right? Like they are seeking these people out. And it's not only that these individuals can't create, but if you actually follow them on Twitter and you listen to their arguments, you listen to what they are saying, they despise the customer. They hate the customer. Look at the localizers, right? Like one woman does the horrible translation. And then you have a guy that goes up to her and it's like, hey, why did you do this? And she's like, because I have a vagina. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, what? Why are you doing this? Right? Like imagine if the roles are reversed. If I do a bad YouTube video, bad editing, someone comes to me like, why do you do that? Because I have a dick. It's like... And unfortunately, this is the state of the industry. And perfect example, right? The Coffin of Andy and Lele. A woman did it. A woman did it. Not just the coding, but the story, the graphics, and the opening soundtrack. And they dislike her. Like, the left dislikes her. She's not going to get a job at Blizzard anytime soon. It's all about ideology. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.